With all the craziness happening in the world, it can feel very difficult to actually get meetings with your dream clients. After all, everybody's at home, working from home, and so how are you even supposed to get in contact with these people? But actually, on the flip side, because more people are at home and more people are spending a majority of their day online, more people, more than ever, are checking their email. Think about it. How many times do you actually check your email per day? Most people wake up in the morning and the first thing they do is check their email, and throughout the entire day, they're gonna check to see if they get important messages. I know for myself, I check my email pretty much every single day, and you might be very similar. So it's no surprise that cold email is still one of the most effective ways to get a meeting with your dream clients, even in today's climate. But the problem that most people have is that they don't really know how to send a proper cold email that actually gets a good response rate. So what we're gonna do in this video is I'm gonna show you the 7 top mistakes most people are making when it comes to their cold email, and I'm gonna show you what these mistakes are so that you can become more aware of it. And I'm also gonna show you how you can fix these mistakes so that you can start blowing up your response rates. What is going on, everybody? My name is Patrick Dang. Welcome to my channel where we're gonna be discussing modern sales. If you are excited for this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you wanna see more sales and cold email videos like this. So we're gonna dive right into it and cover the first cold email mistake most people are making, and that is they're not being specific enough. So let me tell you what I mean. You know, I coach a lot of people, and when I see their emails, when they send me their draft emails of what they want to send to their potential customers, the first common mistake I see everybody make is that they try to include all the different types of services they offer in one email. So for example, if they offer, let's say, software development outsourcing, where they'll develop an app or something like that for you, they'll say, hey, we can develop an app, we can do a Chrome extension, we could do an API, we could do this, we could do that. And they kind of just like throw all these things at the wall, hoping that one of those ideas actually stick. The problem for the prospect, the person who's actually receiving that email, is that they are not really sure what you're about or what your specialty is, right? And so if you're providing all your services in that one email, they have to think too much to see what value you can bring to them. And because they're overloaded with information, they're just gonna totally ignore the email because there's no real reason for why they should respond. So instead of being broad, you wanna be specific. Be specific on a specific use case or a specific pain that you solve in one email, right? And make it very obvious for why someone should respond. The more specific you are and the more you can empathize with the customer before you even have a chance to talk with them, the more they feel like you understand them, and the higher chance they are going to take your meeting. Cold email mistake number 2 is that you definitely need to avoid jargon. Now, when I say jargon, what I mean is industry talk, right? So for example, if you are in the technology space, there are a lot of fancy words like API, SaaS, software as a service, platform as a service, protocol, attribution tracking, right? So for the average person, even if they are a seasoned veteran and even if they are a high-level decision maker at a Fortune 500 company, they may not be familiar with all the technical jargon and nuances that you might be familiar with. So instead of using these terms that people don't understand, because if they don't understand it, there's no reason for them to take a meeting with you. You want to simplify your emails, and you want to make it so that, you know, someone who is, let's say, a 5th grader can read it and get the general understanding of what you're about. If you're using too much technical talk that only you understand and your peers, then nobody's gonna respond. So really empathize with the other person and see where they're coming from. To understand, you know, what kind of language do they speak on a day-to-day basis, and that's the language you wanna use in your cold email. Cold email mistake number 3, and that's bad email design. Now, a cold email is very different from a marketing email, okay? So in a marketing email, you might have different colors, images, and it might be laid out in a nice way. And these are nice emails, right? Especially if you signed up for some type of marketing newsletter. However, for a cold email, you want to strip away all the fat. You don't want any images. You don't want multiple colors. You want to write your email just like how you would write an email you would send to a friend, right? For the most part, it's just going to include text. And why you want to make it as plain as possible is because if you're sending a marketing type email to a cold prospect who has no idea who you are, they're gonna automatically think, okay, I didn't sign up for this. This must be spam, and your email goes into the spam folder. But if you write it as a letter or like something a friend would receive, then people are like, oh, what's this? You know, is it something important, right? It really feels like another human being is trying to connect with them. So that's how you wanna write your emails. Don't make it markety, make it more personal. Cold email mistake number 4 is not following up. You see, the magic of actually getting people to respond is actually following up with them. So for example, if you were to send one email, let's say you send it to 100 people and let's say 5% respond to that email. Okay, not bad. But if you don't follow up, that means 95 people had a chance to actually take a meeting with you, but because you didn't follow up, there's no opportunity. So what you wanna do is you wanna follow up 2 or 3 times per prospect. So that means if you send your first initial cold email, you wanna follow up again, and again, and typically you wanna follow up 3 to 5 days apart. Now, the reason why you wanna do this is because every time you follow up, you're gonna get more responses. So the first email you send, you might get 5%. The second email you send, you might get another 4%. Third email, another 3%. Fourth email, another 5%, right? So you start adding those up and the numbers become, 10 to 20% response rate. But if you only send one, you actually only have an opportunity, you only have one at bat to actually get the person to wanna take a meeting with you. But if you send multiple emails, follow up 3 times, then your response rate is going to skyrocket, even if your messaging is exactly the same. So make sure you guys follow up. Cold email mistake number 5, and that is not A/B testing. And when I say A/B testing, that just means that you are testing different subject lines, different bodies. For example, let's say you're writing an email to 100 different people, right? The body of the email, so whatever is in the email, is exactly the same, but you wanna see which subject line gets the most opens. So subject line 1, you might put over here. Subject line number 2, you put over here. Then you send 50 emails to your prospects using subject line 1. Then you send another 50 using subject line 2, and you see which one gets the most response rate. And because all the other variables are the same, then you're gonna see exactly how effective your subject lines are. And to do this, what you wanna do is you want to use some type of email software that will help you send these emails for you, and it will be a lot easier when it comes to A/B testing. It's not just a subject line that you can A/B test to see how you can improve your response rate. It can be the actual body of the email. It could also be the call to action at the end of the email, meaning what do you actually say at the end to get someone to take a meeting with you, right? It could be, hey, what's the time, let me know when you're available, or maybe it could be something like, hey, schedule a time on my calendar, right? You wanna test the different ways to actually get the meeting, and then from there, you see what works and you continue to move on. So make sure you A/B test the different variables of your cold emails. All right, so moving into cold email mistake number 6, and that is tracking your results. Whether it's tracking your A/B test or tracking, how effective you are in general in sending your cold emails and how many you're actually sending, you gotta track it somehow. If you're just starting out and you're not really sending that many cold emails, let's say you're sending, 10 a day or 20 a day, Excel sheet actually works fine. But if you get a little more advanced and you start wanting to automate the process and you're willing to spend a little bit of money for software, you can use software that will actually keep track of everything from how many emails you're sending, what your open rate is, what your response rate is, and you wanna keep track of all the different people that you actually contacted so you don't actually accidentally contact them again. So top of my head, some examples of some software products that you can use is Outreach.io, Close.com, Mailshake, Reply.io, and pretty much they all do something similar, which is helping you send cold emails and tracking all this data. They all have different variables, strengths and weaknesses and nuances because they're all different type of companies focusing on different type of people. But check out those companies if you're actually interested in software, and let me know in the comments if you're interested in me reviewing any type of cold email software and giving my recommendation on what I think will be best for you guys. But the most important thing when it comes to tracking is that you can't really improve what you don't measure, right? So if you don't really know if you're doing a good job, well, how do you know what to fix? So that's why tracking is extremely important. You don't want to send hundreds of emails and not understand why they're not working. You got to see your data. And now cold email mistake number 7, and that is having multiple call to actions in your email. And let me give you an example of what I mean. In an email, typically the only goal you have is to get a meeting with a customer and you want to sell them on the phone or in person. But a lot of times people make the mistake of including too many call to actions, meaning they'll say, hey, schedule a time on my calendar, check out this article, download my PDF. So if you have 3 different call to actions in your email, it's very confusing for the prospect to understand what exactly they should do for the next step. And I know for most salespeople or people who are starting out in sales, the reason why they do this is because they think that if they give a lot of options to somebody, then the other person will decide what is best for them. The problem is that that's not really true, because people don't really like to think, especially when it comes to cold email from a stranger. They want to know exactly what value you provide and what the next step is if they are interested in working with you. So if you give them an article, a PDF, and call to action, it's unclear. Are they supposed to read the article and then download the PDF and then schedule a call? Or are they supposed to schedule a call and then download the PDF before the call? You see, it's very confusing when there's multiple call to actions. So make it simple. I would recommend that the only goal of your cold email is actually just to schedule a meeting with another person. And just schedule the meeting. Ask for their time on the calendar, or ask them to schedule a time on your calendar, and just make it simple as that. If they're not interested, sending them an article or a PDF isn't really gonna do that much. It's not like they're gonna download the PDF and think, wow, this is exactly what I need. Let's take a call with Patrick. Typically not. Typically, if you can't get the job done in the cold email, they're not gonna respond. And so those are gonna be the 7 top cold email mistakes I see most beginner salespeople making. Make sure you avoid these mistakes and correct them so that you can start getting your response rates higher. If you enjoy this video, make sure to go ahead and give it a big like. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and turn on notifications if you want to be notified anytime I'll be releasing a new video. And let me know in the comments, what's your biggest challenge when it comes to sending cold emails, and I'll be happy to make a video to help you guys out. If you want to learn more about cold emails, check out my other cold email videos somewhere on this screen, and it'll take you there. So with that said, my name is Patrick Dang. Thank you for watching. Really hope you guys got a lot of value, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one.